I remember doing a South African comedy festival, and Pablo Francisco was on. It was me and Trevor Noah before he was anybody, and he was lighting it up on stage there. And some of the jokes were in Afrikaans, and some of it was in English, and some of the stuff I didn't know what he was talking about because it was like a lot of like local stuff. But he was on it, and that's how I met him. And I saw Pablo at breakfast, and I was like, "Can I sit with you?" Like, and he was super cool about it. And I just remember he's one of the comics that I look up to is weird because I don't really know him, but that I definitely take a page from his book. And he's not the most famous, but he's so fucking good. And you say his name, people are like, "Who is that?" And I'm like, "Oh, because you only know like the 3 comics that are on Netflix." It's Pablo Francisco for days.
When I moved to this town,
pigeons.
When I moved to this town, he was on fucking fire.
In Fuego.
In 97, when I first went to the Laugh Factory Latino night, I had like a 5-minute spot, and they said, "Pablo Francisco's on, watch this." This was like maybe the height of Seinfeld.
Yeah.
And he did each one of them in fucking Spanish.
Oh.
Okay, standing ovations.
Yeah.
People puking, because it was just pure brilliance.
People puking.
It was just pure brilliance. It was just the fucking Jerry Seinfeld in Spanish. And from there, it just didn't stop.
He's one of the first comics where someone comes over, and I'm lucky because people tell me they do this with my comedy now, and it's so gratifying. But people come over, I'd be like, "Watch this clip. Come watch this YouTube clip." And he had the bit about pigeons. How like you can say anything to a stripper and she'll agree with you. I'm like, "I like pigeons." She's like,
Fuck yeah, little pigeons.
and I like apples.
Fuck yeah, green apples.
He's like, "It's gonna happen. She likes apples." Anyways, verbatim, that's the clip. You can YouTube it. But he was great.
What year were those specials? Because that's how when I first saw him, like his Comedy Central specials.
You know, I don't remember.
Let me look it up.
Yeah, check it out.
Because that was.
Is he a store comic? Yeah, he's got his, yeah. But I don't ever.
You know, he just contacted me, and I didn't know it was him. He left me a message to be on the podcast.
Oh my God.
I saw him at the Ice House, and we had a great talk. It was great to see him. He's one of the best guys in comedy.
Easily.
Comedy-wise, and as generous as can be. When I first got to this town, he would hire me in different cities, and he would pay me above and beyond. Like, I would go, "Are you crazy?"
Yeah.
You know, he's always been a great guy.
John Panette was like that with me. I know he's gone. One of my first gigs to feature, they flew me to Las Vegas, and I didn't know who he was, and he asked me, "Are you a Vegas comic?" I said, "No, I'm from LA." He's like, "How much did it cost you to get here?" And I told him, you know, probably with room and everything, it was around, and they paid me $500, and I spent most of it to get there. And then he was like, "Come to my office on Monday, and I'll write you a check." And I went to his office, and his manager, Larry Shapiro, wrote me a check for $500. So I had the money. And I'll never forget that he did that. And it was a real... When you start in comedy, you learn how to treat other comics by how kind comics are to you. And I don't know that comics ever gave me a real break, but once in a while when someone is kind like that, it sticks with you. And like Pablo was cool when I met him. He won't remember me, you know. But like the comics who aren't dicks, then you're like, oh, that's the way to treat people.
One time I was in Houston, and Pablo called me at like 11 in the morning on a Saturday. He goes, "What are you doing? Do you want to go to the mall?" I go, "No, I got to meet these people for lunch." He goes, "All right." That night I saw him, he gave me a bag. He bought me 3 shirts at the mall.
Oh.
On a Saturday. Like, and I'm talking about fucking shirts. Like, I was like, "Pablo, are you serious?" He got me like a Laker velour thing that I really couldn't wear. Do you know what I'm saying? It was like too much. It was like purple with the dark black.
Right.
If you put it on, you lost 15 pounds. Right. Because there was no oxygen going in there. Like, there was no...
right, couldn't breathe.
You couldn't breathe.
Right.
And he gave me these 2 other dress shirts. They had to be like $200 a piece, man.
Yeah.
Plus, he tipped me that Saturday. You know, I mean, it was just... he's just a great kid all around. Yeah, it's really... This comic that I worked with this weekend, the guy that featured for me this weekend...
Where were you?
I was in Columbus. Mm-hmm. And he's a writer. And 20 whatever years ago, I used to... open for him.
Oh, weird.
He had just won San Francisco. This guy's a dangerous motherfucker on stage. Dangerous. His name is Rick Kearns. He had radio in Denver. He'll be at the show. He'll be at the shows. He'll have one of the nights.
Okay.
And when you see him the first couple minutes, you're like,
He won't be on my shows.
But no, you bring in your own people. And it was so weird. That's why Denver's scary, because they throw those headliners at you from Denver.
Oh, I don't care about
No, but they usually do. Like, a lot of people go to Denver. You know what I will say?
I
don't bring nobody to Denver. I fucking...
I never did, because I always believed in cultivating local comics
too.
and giving people chances. That being said, Denver, and I love Comedy Works, it's the only city where, because they give you different comics every night. They've never been cool. Never rude.
Really?
But they come in, they do their thing, they don't make eye contact, they leave. I'm like, do you realize how much it would behoove you to just say hi to me? All my features that I bring on my tour and that I work with are people who featured for me. I liked them as people. And I was like, come work for me. And it was never rude. I've definitely had, it was just kind of like, almost like they're making a point of not giving me the respect of talking to me. Like, I just come in to work, I don't talk to her. And it's just like, okay, it's your funeral. You don't have to do it. I won't help you. That's totally fine with me.
It's really fucking weird.
So this year, I'm playing a different part of the club, and I was like, I'm bringing my own people. Done. I have friends that will fly in and spend money to get to do it. And I'm not going to use a local guy who's not going to look me in the eye and say hi. So fuck
I
it.
try to cultivate also. I also, there's a lot of comics that you taking a comic on the road may be something small to you, but it's something. I remember how big it was for me when somebody called me at the comedy store. They said, "You available Tuesday? What if I gave you $750?
Yeah. I need to go do my act in Wisconsin and test it out there. 100%.
Oh my God! So many comics made my week.
Yeah.
I remember one night I seen Louis C.K. when I was hosting. I used to host on Sunday.
Yeah.
And he came and he goes, "Do you think you get on?" I'm like, "Yeah," and I got him on. And when he got off, he goes, "Hey man, what are you doing this week?" I go,
Yeah.
"Nothing, I'm around." He goes, "I wrote something. I'll know it tomorrow. Give me your number." Listen, I went back on stage. I didn't go home and go, "Honey, I got rent money."
Right.
He fucking called. And he put me on the fucking show. And I never forgot him because of that. Louis C.K. It's really weird,
but
man.
it's also like you got him on the show. Like you were cool. All you had to do was be a little cool, and he was cool back. If you were like, "No man, can't get you on," or "Hey man, you gotta wait," like you gave him a green light. People don't realize, like, for headliners, like, you being cool to us is just as important as us being cool to you. You have to make people want to do you favors. You have to, nobody wants to help somebody who walks into a green room that's a dick.
2 years ago, a kid hit me up. He goes, "Can I do a guest spot?" I go, "I got to be honest with you, I really don't know you."
I always say yes.
And if I say yes, then every show I do, they're going to be there. Like, if you let, it's really. It's really weird, Eliza.
Yes,
The
Joey.
word gets out.
Oh, you mean other people come?
So, I used to do a room in Brea. Mm-hmm. And I was very generous with the room. Mm-hmm. I went home with $50. I broke it into a 3-man show.
Right.
I hosted. I brought a headline and a feature. You know how many times I showed up down there and there'd be 6 guys? "I didn't know you did comedy here." "Really? What the fuck do you think we do here?"
We're going in like fucking Marines, you understand me?
Welcome to church, motherfucker.